Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we're going to be diving headfirst into environmental tech. So, I hope you guys are ready. So guys, I know I say this a lot in every episode, but honestly, there is going to be a lot that we have to do today. As you can see, I did add a roof up here, and that's because I want to have a clean area for some kind of power-based stuff. And then I'm also going to be doing environmental tech today and getting started with that, because that's going to take a little bit of process to kind of get going. And there is a really cheesy, easy way to get power in this pack. And we're going to touch on that a little bit. Of course, we're going to utilize all of our power sources to generate power, but I really want to use solar power because, of course, it's always sunny here. So why not have a massive solar panel up here? So that's what we're going to work towards, environmental tech. But there's a few things that I want to get to before we do that. And that is to make plastic from industrial foregoing. And of course, many of you may have already seen this, but to make plastic, it's not a very difficult process to do. We do need some kind of course, we're not going to automate too much. We're going to make one and then be good to go. Because as you can see, these do have EMC values. Because this process just kind of is a weird machine setup that you have to do. So let's get the tree fluid extractor is what we need to make here. So some stone, iron, gear, furnace, and redstone. So stone, of course, redstone, iron, gear, and that should make that block and a furnace. Eventually we're going to have this set up with applied logistics systems to be way easier to make these different things. And then we need a latex processing unit. This would require a machine frame, 2 more furnaces, and some more iron. So we should be able to get 2 of those, and I'll just grab a little bit of that, a bit of iron there. We needed a frame, and 2 more furnaces. So let's go ahead and grab some furnaces. Bam. Alright, so we should be able to make this, and then back to the tree fluid extractor. And I'm only going to need a couple of these. As you can see, they have EMC to them. If anything, I want a couple of tree fluid extractors just to make this process a little bit faster. But I'm going to go ahead and place down one. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get 4 of those. Like so. And we'll just place them not like that. We got to leave a spot in the center. We can already go ahead and get some logs or wood. I wish you could search the name by log. I don't know what version that was, if that stopped happening in. But this is going to start chipping away at these things. And it's going to start building up a little bit of latex inside. It's going to start processing that wood, and I want that wood to be gone. Alright, and we need some kind of pipe. So the best thing for us is going to be fluid transfer pipes at the moment, until we get into some other mods. So fluid transfer pipes. Right here, I'm just going to need, I guess, stone. Pipes, already have that going, and a bucket. There we go. Very, very easy. And we already have the pipes on us ready to go. Okay, we're also going to need a coal gen. You'd almost think that I've thought about this before starting. But here is our latex processing unit. We can place that here. I'm just going to go ahead and place some coal gen there. Let's grab some block of coal, why not? And then I'll talk about these things here in a little bit. You guys may be wondering what those are. But this needs a little bit of power. Also, it's going to need some water, and it's going to need that latex. So let's go ahead and take all of these after I get a little bit of EMC here. And a couple things to eat, because I always end up just starving myself. There we go. And we'll hook this up to the piping system. And this will get routed. I'm not worried about this going here. I just want the latex to build up inside there. Alright. So, did I never save that Evertide amulet? I don't think I did. So yeah, I never saved the Evertide amulet, so I'm just going to pull it out of here temporarily. I should have EMC'd that thing, because this thing's so good. I love these amulets. So, we should be able to fill this with water by just right-clicking with the amulet. And that's going to give us enough tiny rubber pellets. And all we need is 9 of them, and then we're good to go. So this process is very, very simple. And I hope you guys kind of understood how to make that. Because having plastic in this pack is very, very needed. It's one of those processes very needed. So it needs a little bit more water. And there we go. Just enough. Perfect. And we can take this and take some coal and take a... What is that called? Oh, Philosopher's Stone. So we should be able to take this with the Philosopher's Stone, coal. Nope, I guess not. So we need a furnace. I think that, or we need to put it in here. Usually that works. Works like a furnace, but I guess not with that recipe. Okay. We'll just use a regular furnace then. Plop that next to our power gen. Throw that in there. And this, like I said, is going to get us that rubber. And I want to show you exactly why we're getting that rubber, or getting that plastic. So that's all saved. Let's go ahead and throw all of our other stuff back in here. And we can break this down. As long as that block is broken, you don't want to break this down with that block still left there. Because what will happen is there'll still be basically a block there. You won't be able to place any block there because that broken block state will still stay there. And they did that because before you used to be able to use a piston to move the block, and basically you'd never have to replace the log. So that was a way of preventing people from bypassing that. So not exactly the best solution, I wouldn't think, but it works. So now that we have plastic, that kind of opens some things up. So when I was talking about power, some really OP power, some crazy power, we can set that up pretty easy. So if we take a look at the petrified fuel generator, this thing in this pack is incredibly powerful. So let's get some gears, 2 gears. We need a diamond, I believe, and plastic and a furnace. And a frame. Okay, so that is it, okay, for that petrified fuel generator. We can make a bunch of these and use a personal EMC link and pretty much have this thing automated at all times. So let's take a flat transfer node, and we're going to go up here and we're going to set this thing up, because right now this thing is pretty powerful in itself. What I need to do is, I guess, place... I actually need a placement block. You can use coal for right now. Because I need to place down this. Or technically, I can just place down the gen. And we need this pulling from our other block, so we can hold down control and place this on top. What it's going to do is it's going to set it to pull from our EMC link. And then here we can grab ourselves some Eternalist fuel. Turn this into blocks, right? So this is where you get some crazy overpowered materials and crazy powerful machines. In this Eternalist fuel, we can just place it here. Or at least inside that slot we're supposed to be able to. If it lets me. It doesn't look like it's letting me. Why are you not working? Okay, so we can't place the Eternalist fuel block in there? That seems kind of weird. That's weird. Yeah, we can't place the Eternalist fuel block in there, but we can place Eternalist fuel in there. As you can see, I'm gaining 1 million basically a second, which is kind of crazy if you guys catch that. Anyways, that was how I was going to automate it, but I guess that's just not a thing. Well, I guess we can make some pretty easy power anyways by just doing this. And this is still going to produce about 5,000 RF tick. This block, though, if you just manually place it in there, will produce about 47,000. Yeah, 46,000 RF a tick is what you'll get from that block. But right now, this is basically just going to always pump Eternalist fuel into it, which is awesome. We totally have the ability to do that. It's producing 5,000 RF tick. That's going to be plenty for right now. And which is going to allow us to get into a couple of other mods, which I'm super excited for. Let's pop in here and see what kind of power transfer we have, because we've already unlocked a bunch of things using our mob farm. So our mob farm unlocks tons of stuff. We even have other power generation things that we have that are passive. Let's see, what's a good example of that? Oh, we have spectre coils. these produce 128 RF a tick a piece, just passively, that we could technically use if we wanted to. A lot of these things are not EMC. A lot of these things are EMCable. I had them being turned into EMC, and then I decided to stop doing that so I can make sure that I've gathered everything in here. So let's go ahead and start working on this. And what we can do is pull this open. Not thermal, we need environmental tech. Right? So environmental tech is what we're going to start with soon. And like I said, we need to power these controllers. To get power, we also have, what is it called? I think it's called Flux. Yeah, Flux Networks. I don't know why I forget that. Flux Networks. Okay, so yeah, we've pretty much got all the stuff from Flux Networks through our loot crates, or through our loot crates. We didn't even have to make them, but they are pretty simple to make. And if you want to know how to make Flux, it tells you right here: obtained by throwing redstone into fire or lava. And yeah, it'll give you that Flux stuff. You can also do it with blocks as well of redstone. But anyways, that's getting us this stuff, which will give us a Flux plug and a Flux point and a controller. I'm going to take this controller. I'm actually going to go ahead and set the network up. I'm also going to place the controller up top here. Might as well place it next to this bad boy. And what we'll do is we'll go to create network. And I'm just going to call this main network right now, because later on we're going to rename it. And we'll set this to the way it is. And I'll put this on green. That's fine. Turn it on. And then make sure we click access it whenever it's under the network selection. Make sure we turn it on. And then we can hit enable and wireless charging. Go into our settings and make sure all of this is turned on for wireless charging. And now we have a wireless charging system, which is awesome. But we need to fuel this with some power. And this right here is going to provide us with 5,000. We need to hook up a plug to this to get this network started. So a plug is what you send power into. And you just select the network that you want to send it power into. And right here is going to be your points. And the point is what you use to power other machines. So we'll utilize that here in a little bit. But right now, let's start working with environmental tech. So to get started here with environmental tech, we're going to need a few things. We're going to need some structures. Mainly, we're going to need this assembler to kind of get started. And we're also going to need one of our environmental tech tiered miners. I'm going to go with the tier 1 miner. That's basically the only way you can start with environmental tech, because we're going to need to get some of this litherite crystal, and then of course keep going from there. And we're going to have to keep tiering up to do that. That's also going to affect our solar panels and stuff like that. Like I said, my ultimate goal is to use this for solar panels, not exactly mining, even though our mining can help gather a little bit of EMC as we go. Also gathering different resources and things like that, which is going to be very useful. But what we can do right now is start working on this interconnect stuff. This requires black concrete. Yeah, the good stuff. So to make black concrete, you guys know how to do that. Super simple. We just need to make it. We need sand, gravel, very easy stuff to obtain, and then black dye, which we can use floral powder. And there we go. That makes concrete. And then I'm going to use my Evertide amulet to place some water down. Place this, and bam. We have ourselves some concrete. So we have concrete powder. We'll take some of that concrete, and I'm going to need iron. A lot of this stuff is going to require iron, redstone, and things like that. Also, lapis is another thing. And then we're going to need green dye, lime, which is nice because we've done all that Botania stuff. So getting dye just makes it so much easier. We're going to need this for the crystals. Diamond. And what was the last thing we needed? Let's see. Flint. So this is going to be the healthy portion of everything we need for this mod. So the litherite crystals, and a lot of this is EMCable, so it's going to be super easy for us to be able to handle. This right here, the connector, these are kind of interesting on how they work, but I'm going to make a couple of them, as we probably need to EMC them. The structure tier 1 is going to require this, which requires that basically for the connectors, and then the black concrete makes it an interconnect. So there we go. So interconnect, we definitely want to EMC. We want to save all this stuff for later. Perfect. And get to work on, let's see, we have our litherite. We just need to make the frame. So there's the frame. And there's a couple of other things that we need to make. Not the null modifier, but the structure panel, I do believe, is what it's called. And the structure panel is not too hard either. Let's see, we can probably do most of that. Iron bars, I'm assuming that's been saved, yeah. Okay. And gold nuggets, of course, have been saved as well. Structure panel, bam. We can get a few of those. The structure panel, structure tier 1. And that's going to be most of our issue here when going through this mod. Now, we do need to make the assembler, which is obsidian. And also that litherite. Assembler is going to be very, very useful in this mod. If you guys have never messed with this mod, it's definitely useful. So our assembler is here. We have our structure panels and our frames. Now we need to find the tier 1 void ore miner. So here's our void ore miner controller tier 1. It's going to require litherite blocks, diamond blocks, the interconnect, and then some lasers and a diode. All right. So yeah, just a little bit of crafting is all we got to do here. Just a little bit of then we have also the resource miner as well. So I'm going to grab some of that litherite, diamond block. All this stuff is pretty simple, at least at this point. Shouldn't have threw my iron out. There we go. And last but not least, we need some kind of lens, which is going to be just a regular lens, I do believe. One of these. Yeah, just glass. All right. So let's make that. We also probably need a laser core, which require connectors. All of this stuff we want to kind of save. Crystal laser lens. This requires, oh, this must be stuff from later on. So some of this stuff is new to me because the mod has updated. But, I mean, for the most part, seem rather normal. So, litherite blocks. There we go. There's 4 of them. We can save that. Save all these different things because we're going to be needing them later on. And the controller, interconnect. What was that last thing that we were needing? It didn't show that we had our laser here. Okay, so we're just missing the diode. Perfect. And there is our void ore miner controller tier 1. So, now that we have that, what we can do is place this on the ground. And you can just click this, or left click this. And it's going to tell you need 24 structure frames, 1 or above, 20 structure panels. You're going to need 2 laser cores. And we're going to need 1 laser lens of any type. So, it means we need 2 laser cores. And we're going to need a lens of any type, and then the structure panels, and then the tier 1. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and break that, and we're going to find somewhere to place this. But first, let's take a look. We're going to be flying around the air a little bit, so maybe I should make a jetpack. Just to kind of help me maneuver, maybe? I don't know, what's the easiest jetpack to make? Is it just the leadstone jetpack? That seems simple enough. Leadstone, reacting dynamo. That sounds perfect fine to me. So I'm going to go ahead and make this jetpack real quick. Should take me about a second to make that. It's just a lot of crafting. And then we'll get started with all the other fun stuff. So now that I have that jetpack, I went ahead and built myself a little platform that kind of goes down a little bit. You can kind of see the design that I'm going with. I'm kind of keeping everything close-knit here around our main base structure. But right here is kind of where I want to put this thing. Now this is an even platform, So it's a little bit weird on the numbering. It isn't actually like 3 sets of 3, being like a nice 9x9. It's actually 11 blocks, which I'm planning on like rounding these edges out here anyways that are close to this. I don't know, that may change. It may actually be like a little cutout here on the corner. But anyways, we should be able to fit this thing within this block here. That leaves me with 2 blocks on the side. And if I remember correctly, this needs to go up a few blocks. Because if we think about this, we have our laser that is going to go here. So we have this and then 2 cores, which means this needs to go above that. Like this. If I remember correctly. I think so. So from there, I should be able to go ahead and use my assembler. And just right click on my assembler. And what it's going to do is it's going to, if I just hold right click, it's going to automatically build the structure for me. And then it's going to say assembled false. It should say assembled true, which now that I'm looking at it, it's going to need to change anyways. Because it actually needs to move over 1. Or probably move over 2, to be honest. I really need to get myself a magnet. The funny thing is, a lot of the stuff that I actually want, I can buy right now in the shop. I have a lot of Beast Coin. I just haven't done that. I want to do everything on camera, and it's just so like, I just don't want to just miss out on something for you guys. All right, so we'll put this back up. That should be the right height. And let's assemble now. And voila. That should be a completed structure. The only thing we're missing now is to kind of get in here and break this bottom block, giving it access basically to the void. That's all you need to do. We can finish that thing right there, complete. It says assembled false. I don't know why, because it does have everything. 2 laser cores, structure panel, okay, and then structure frames tier 1 or above. Structure panels. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so it is working. It is assembled. It just, there it goes, assembled true. All right, so I just had to recognize that that was down there. So now here's where we can use our flux point. So we can place that point on here, select our network as main, and you can see now this is going to be filling up with power. And we need to kind of get some storage medium for this. So, something for it to put things in. Crate works wonderful for this. So you just put a crate next to it, and then stuff is just going to start building up in here over time. And that's what we want. We're actually looking for a very specific thing, though, because upgrading this through the tiers is going to require not like anything we really get through here. I'm not really looking for the ores in particular, but I am looking for something else. And that is the next tier, Iridium crystal. This comes from a ore miner. Now, I remember there used to be something. We also need mica, so that's going to be something else we're going to need, because this is used for modifiers later on down the road. So on the other side of this, I think I'm going to go ahead and do it's exactly the same process. I just need to get a resource miner for this, because mica only comes from the resource miner, and once we get a little bit of mica, we're good to go. But you can see this thing's running pretty good for a tier 1. It's going to get you all the things you need. It looks like it's using 660 RF a tick, and duration, it's saying 400. I guess that's maybe it'll do 1 process every 400 ticks, I'm assuming. But man, we're getting some stuff that I don't think we've had. I don't remember Eulorium being something that we had access to. But there we go. Very, very simple. And it actually doesn't look too bad. I think we moved it in the right position. I think the only other thing we probably should do is probably move it back just 1 more to kind of make it more even. At the position it's in, it's not exactly even in that block space, and I kind of want to use these areas specifically for these void ore miners, because they do get rather large. So while that's doing its thing, I mentioned I wanted to talk a little bit about these power flowers and how they actually function. So let me go ahead and collect these, and then we'll start from scratch, and I'll show you exactly what these are doing, and why I have so many of them. I'll show you. So right now we have a little bit of EMC built up. Now we have like 8 trillion built up. So we have 8 trillion EMC right here, and I'm kind of pushing up through the tiers. I have an MK7, and this is an MK7 flower. So what it basically is doing is, let me go ahead and pull out, we need 4 of these, or 6 of these, sorry. And then we need a bit of these MK7s. And then 1 personal EMC link. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it, I'm going to build the power flower right in here. Right? So we have this, and this is the start of the power flower. And this is basically how you would build a power flower in your game. But that's where these bonsais really come in handy. So you keep building out this right here. Like so. You keep filling this in, and eventually it's going to become a flower power, or a power flower. And what it's in this right here, this is the completed structure. So basically this is going to generate the max amount of EMC in the center there. And it's going to concentrate it all in the center. This thing right here can be condensed down to make it more server friendly. And that's exactly what they've done. So we'll take all this stuff back, and then I'll show you how this applies. So you take this and you combine this into 2 compressed ones. You take 6 of these, 2 compressed, and that equals the exact same as making this flower power, or power flower, and it turns it into a little one, like this. That takes up 1 block space and produces the exact same amount as if it was taking up that huge space. Really, really nice. It even says on there, right here, server TPS friendly, generates EMC only once per second. But it generates, which would be 20 ticks. So every 20 ticks it generates 296, at least with this one, EMC. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this and see if we have enough to really upgrade. I don't know if we do, but I might be able to bump this up into the MK8 and make one out of that. The MK8, let's take a look. MK8. This guy is going to require some of that cyan, and I've made this cyan. Its stuff is getting really expensive because, as you can see, the cyan uses a lot of EMC for this. But we should be able to take the cyan and take our previous versions. This is how you upgrade them, of course. Place that in. Is it cyan? Maybe it's not. MK7, MK8. Oh, it's blue. Blue matter. Okay. So we have the blue. Oh, so we might actually be able to upgrade this even further. Okay. So that takes us to the 8. We'll store those, because we have cyan, which goes even higher than the 8. So this will take us up to 9. So here's our 8. Now, I don't know if we can do 9, but 9 would be pretty awesome if we could. It's just going to get very, very expensive on us. So how many can I get of this? 16? That's 1 compressed. That's almost enough. We have almost enough. Almost. But that we're not there just quite. So let's do an 8, like I said, like I was working on before. We totally have enough for 8. Actually, probably multiples of 8. So let's pull that out. We're going to go ahead and get 6 of the tier 8 matter relays. We're, of course, going to need a personal EMC link. And I'm going to need another one of these. The blue matter. Alright, and we're going to make this very simple. And this is going to produce 1.19 million EMC. Just like that. And it looks like we have enough that we can pull out 2. So right now, we can produce 2 million, or 2.2 million EMC a tick just from these 2 right here passively. Just because we started, we've just built it up over time. We can take a look in here and you can see 2.37 million EMC a tick. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's working. And our mob farms are definitely pulling in some of that. Also, I have my experience being pulled in through these absorption hoppers. This is not a good solution. Later on, we are going to fix this. And because it fills up these drums really fast and it's just spilling EMC everywhere, or spilling experience everywhere, we are going to upgrade this and we're going to use probably the best method, at least the best one that I can see being in this pack, at least for the late game. And that is going to be Ender IO's storage. So I hope you guys learned something today. We're going to keep an eye out on this. Of course, I'm going to make a environmental one on the other side. I'm probably going to move this as well to make it look a little bit better. But let's see. We got some more litherite, but you know what we're looking for. Oh, we even got draconium through here. So that's nice. So that means we can get access to some draconium stuff, which is really good. But yeah, all of this can also be EMC'd, and we can throw that in here. We should have most of these ores. We just didn't have draconium. As you can see, this ore is not actually EMC'able, but the ingots and stuff itself, they are. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, you guys know what to do. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also give this video, guys, a huge thumbs up. You guys have been showing so much support for this Let's Play. It's been absolutely insane. You guys are absolutely amazing. I really appreciate it, guys. I will see you guys in the next episode, and as always, thanks for watching.